But let's give a big round of applause for our first speaker, Xuan Meng from Cozy House. There you are. Thank you. Ooh. Xuan, look, be careful here, because people are going to trip over this. I'm going to recommend you stand on this side here, okay?
You said you are going to give me the
microphone, yes. You're keeping me on track. Look,
I am a woman, I remember.
On the back, yeah?
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay, and how does this work? Is like this?
That's
like this?
left and right, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, my name is Xuan. I'm the founder and director of Cozy House. So just a little bit of background about me. I started my career in the city of London. I was working asset management firm, so very good with numbers. Actually, financial structuring and stuff is my strength. About 6 years ago, nearly 7 years now, time flies, I had a baby girl. Actually, I don't mind saying that at that time when I was pregnant with her, I was planning to have 2 kids and become a housewife. You know, I'm Chinese, and you know, this just seems a normal way to do. And I really have to thank my husband, now ex-husband, that right after I gave birth, he did a lot of bad things, and he lost his job and all that. And basically, I was left without an option. I can't become a housewife, so that route is game over. And then I thought, what should I do? I can go back to work for my previous firm, but with 1 London salary, with my daughter. I want to look after her, I want to spend time with her. And also with 1 London salary, I can't give her the life I've always wanted to give her. So I took the plunge into property development. It was very scary at the time. I was probably in postnatal depression as well, but property development saved me. And now, 5-6 years down the road, I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done for myself and for my daughter. We've grown even during very difficult times, because I started in 2018. My daughter was 1 at that time. I was making a decision, is either I go back to the city of London or do something else. It was right after Brexit. And then I had COVID, and now, you know, the interest crisis. But despite all that, we grew 50% year on year. And our team, we have a team of 25 people now, and we do a large number of projects, all using our own fund, because we have quite profitable projects. We actually have 3 lines of services now. Is build to rent, is our HMOs. So I still do a lot of HMOs, 30-40% of my portfolio. I do build to sell, so we do ground up development, block of flats, new houses, all those things. And also we just started to offer planning services externally as well. I have a team of 6 people, 2 planning consultants, 4 architects. 1 of them is trained to do daylight and sunlight report. And in my construction team, I have a building services engineer who does a fire statement and SAP at the planning stage, and later help me with building services, you know, MEPF, talking to Thames Water, which I absolutely hate. So he does all that stuff. So that's a bit of me in a nutshell. So this is my team. So we have a quite big team now. And
sorry to interrupt you. The microphone's not picking your up properly. Could you just take it from the back and put it onto your front for me, please?
Okay. No problem. Now it's working. Thank you very much. You interrupted my train of thoughts. Okay, this is my team. My team is quite heavy, but probably, as you have guessed, most of the things we do in-house, because sometimes I feel with consultants, it's not only about the money, it's the speed, it's how much they care. So everything we do in-house. And also my staff cost is actually not high, because 65% of my staff members are actually based in the Philippines. So I spent years training them. It's not like some of you maybe kick the most boring admin work to the Philippines, you know, outsource. But no, in our company, we have a motto that we're not allowed to use the word virtual assistant. They are all staff members based in a different location. I pay them really well. I give them private health insurance, pension, all that, holidays. They're like my family. And actually our most value-adding activity, which is planning, this bit, is actually done in the Philippines. And I talked about we grow 50% year on year. to be honest, 80% of that I contribute to our planning success. And also, I have something I'm really, really proud. I've won so many different awards now, but this year I'm the finalist for an award which I personally feel really proud of. It's Women in Construction. And thank you. And I have more than 50% of my team ladies. And also this year, I'm so proud, I hired a lady who is pregnant. Has any of you hired someone who is actually pregnant? Well done, high five. She's great. I don't think I'll ever regret my decision. So I think I touched upon this already. So we built to rent, which gave me great cash flow. I love it. And this is, of course, one of big development cost, but this is development profit. But this one, during a build, the cash flow is really struggling. So this part of the business really helped me. So look at my team structure, right? My rental income from my HMO portfolio actually pays all my staff members. So I don't have any cash flow issues. So even in, let's say, we have another 2008 crisis, maybe I can't sell off any of my development projects. I have to just rent them out. I don't have my development profit. I will not be great, but I can still survive because all my daily running cost is paid by this part. And then we started our planning services. To be honest, the planning, later I'll show you loads of my projects. The purpose of setting it up is not to make money, because it's actually the lowest return on my time. Service-based industry, it's if you do property development very well, development profit is much, much higher. But why do we do that? Because we want to learn. I want to keep my team busy, and they learn a lot of things, and I learn from other people's projects as well. So we can do planning better and better because our core competency is planning, right? I spend so much, this is for learning. I also spend so much money on training courses, different things for my team on planning as well. So this is a bit of our process. It actually shows you how important planning is. So I live in Wimbledon, and I'm super lazy, and I have a little girl. I only do projects within about 30 minutes of my house. I don't go out far. But I live in Wimbledon. You probably know, usually the more affluent the area, the more difficult to get an option agreement. People just don't do option agreement in Wimbledon Village. And so how do I minimize my planning risk? That's where my team come from. So here, what's going on? Can I not point?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, it's okay. Here, so what I do is here. If I got an offer agreed, I say, oh, I'll buy your house for $1 million. What I'll do is I'll get my team to do a very quick 2-day research to identify all the planning constraints, TPOs, flood risk, conservation, everything. And by that time, I've done the risk assessment. To be honest, 95% of the risks, I've already killed them. And then I will drag my feet a little bit. Actually, I don't try to mess around the vendors at all. I only need about 2.5 months, maximum 3 months. It's a standard time between offer and exchange. I just need to drag my feet a little bit. And what I'll do is, within 3 weeks, my team will prepare the full application for pre-app. Why pre-app? Because pre-app is private, so the vendor can't see. I'll show you some of my projects later. If the vendor knows what I'm going to do, there is no chance they are selling to me anymore. So I have to do pre-app. And also pre-app is rubbish in, rubbish out. So we prepare for the pre-app as if it's a full application. Design access statement, planning statement, CGIs, all sorts of reports. We even can do parking stress, transport impact assessment. Anything we may see there is a risk, we do all those reports. We even do agricultural ecology reports actually before pre-app. And then we'll go for pre-app and we'll discuss with the council. Actually, I probably bought 30, 40 projects now over the past 5-6 years. There were only 2 times after I did the pre-app I decided to pull out. All the others I go to complete. But the pre-app basically help us mitigate almost never say 100%, but then 99% of the risk. And I work with local councils, so I know them very, very well. So that helps reduce the risk as well. So after the pre-app, because it's my internal team and they work very, very fast, they even have the time to update the whole application based on the office's comments. So on the day of exchange, I submit. And within 3 to 4 months, planning takes time, and planning is probably the riskiest thing you ever do in development. But because of what we do, because of how well we know the council, my relationship with them, because we've done our pre-app, so far we have 100% success rate with planning applications, and we usually get it done, the results, 3 to 4 months later. Because, they've already told us what they like, what they don't, and we've already incorporated all the changes. So that's basically our process. And so this is just an example of some of the things we do, like the side plot. I got another detached house here. We find something low in density, we increase the density. Something derelict, really cheap, we buy them, enhance them. Or some like commercial, commercial located in near residential. So we try to change them, convert. I never touch commercial, but I do buy commercial to convert into residential. So I'm a residential developer. And the way, actually, for all of our projects, even the projects we are holding, that lady asked me a question. Even the projects we are holding, our criteria is we have to recycle 100% of the money out. Because to be honest, my parents, I still give them monthly allowance and stuff. I didn't come from a family with money. I started with my savings, salaries and stuff. So I cannot afford to leave 100K here, 200K there, especially I operate in London. So with our development, of course, we make good profit. With our HMO, still we do not do any project, which means we can't take 100% of the cash out. And that, how do we do that? I'll show you a lot of actual cases, but it's through addition of space, through change of use and all that. It's planning plays a big role. And quite often, seriously, I converted, I tell you, you'll laugh. I converted a house, a very standard 3-bedroom house in London, 90 square meters, to 230 square meters, 9-bedroom, all ensuite HMO. And I bought it for 400, I sold it for 1.16. Yeah. So that's, I started with 450,000. I sold my flat in London, savings, and remortgaged our family home to get this, and that's all the money we start with. And now we do have some investment loans, so I pay a fixed interest investment loans, but no JV. I own 100% of everything. So it's so you have to think I really have to deploy my cash quite carefully. Yeah, so we'll buy rundown property, we'll extend, refurb, getting planning gain, we'll remortgage as a much higher value. And we recycle all of our initial investment. That's the number one criteria. And we leave as little cash as possible. And we achieve all of our projects, we achieve at least 60% ROI. That's across development and HMOs. So I don't like talking too much about theory. Let's look at a few properties. So this one actually won me the Property Investor Award. It's a very simple, actually it's not that much profit, it's about $500,000. But what is good is it's quite low risk, and also it's really quick. And we do a lot of smaller projects, but a lot. So I have 9 projects running at the moment. So for this one, what I did, this it's quite a big house, and also you can do extension and stuff. So you can make it a large HMO, but this is London Borough of Merton. I know them very well. They hate large HMOs with a passion. It's very unlikely they will give me a large HMO. So what do? So instead of converting to a large HMO, so I want to go to OMA, but there is an obstacle. And what I did is I go that way and then go to OMA. So I get to OMA in the end. So what I did is I converted into 2 3-bedroom flats with a separate dining room and separate reception room. 3-bedroom units they absolutely love it because the family units, so there is no planning risk at all. And then after that, I used the PD to convert each flat into a HMO flat. So in the end, I got what I want, but I didn't take any planning risk, and it was very straightforward. And this one, with planning, I negotiated a little bit delayed completion as well. So by the time we completed, we already got the planning, and we started the next day. So that's the typical feature of my project. Very, very fast, low risk, go, 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 go. And this one, it's actually, you can see the numbers. I bought it for $550, and I sold it for $1.3 million. You can all even check it, it's all on land registry, it's all public data. And so I made $500K within a few months profit. So this one, I sold it. I usually don't sell it. I like my HMOs. The rent is very high. But if some investor, they really want it and pay me really high price, I wouldn't mind either. So those are some floor plans, etc. So this was what it was like. I bought it. This is when it was done. So it's quite nice. And this is another project. Not only, this one I decided to keep, but this one, not only I took all my money out, I ended up actually with almost 300K extra in my bank account after owning this property. I'll show you why. So this is what I bought, and this is what it looked like a few months later. So this is what I bought. Basically, what I've done is there is a side plot, and I bought the whole thing only for $450, and I got a planning. But again, I did a pre-app before I exchanged. There was no risk. I got my planning very fast. I got a planning for a 3-bedroom detached house there. At that time, my construction team was a bit busy, so I didn't even build it. I just sold it to a local developer. So this type of single building plot is very, very popular. And I sold it to $260K with an overage. So in the end, actually, I got a $300K profit just for this. But was for this plot and a couple of months' work. I didn't even do anything. And this, I did a massive side dormer under PD, no planning risk, and converted into, like this, converted into 5-bedroom HMO. This is the floor plan. And I rented it out, and I got a valuation from a mortgage company for $785 for this. So I bought everything for $450. The site, I sold it for $300. This one, $785. Probably spent about $150,000 the construction cost, because the only thing I did is the loft conversion. I didn't extend that much, and so this one is overall profit for over $400, and I not only took all the money out, I end up with about $300K extra because of the side plot. So it was like this before. I never buy something nice. And this is what it looked like afterwards.
We're all very envious at the moment.
Thank you, Oma. Oma is a really good friend of mine. Actually, today, Uncle Oma, it's the last day of the term. And Sophie wants me to pick her up, and I'm here. You should be proud of me. This is my 3-bedroom house. I sold it to one of my developer friend, actually. He was very nervous about the building costs and GDV and stuff at the time. So we agreed a much lower GDV to reduce his risk, but we also agreed overage. So I said the end GDV will be probably about $750 for a detached house in London Borough of Kingston, but this is in a slightly cheaper area of Kingston. Otherwise, it would be much more. And he said, "Oh, I'm nervous. Can we base the land sale price on $650?" I said, "It's fine, but then we just get an overage. So anything, if he sell it more than $650, I get half of it." So he's happy, I'm happy. This is another one. This one is so straightforward. This was before in Croydon, but it was before Article 4 in Croydon, okay? Actually, I did, this one is quite simple. I just did a loft conversion, but I got 8 bedrooms out of it. So what else I'm very, very proud of is my HMO design and the layout. Very few people, this house is 4.6 meter wide. Nobody saw a 8-bedroom HMO. I'll show you the floor plan. You'll be, so here, you see, this is the floor plan. So of course, this is 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, right? That is a kitchen dining. 3, 4, 5. Oh no, sorry, this is on the ground floor. So 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3, 4, 5. That's easy. Ah, where's my loft? Sorry. Where's my loft? Oh, loft is here. Sorry, I'm in the shadow. And loft is here. And then 6, 7, 8. How did I achieve that? You see, if you see the front bit, you can see there is a massive gable. And but the gable is quite low. So what I did is I lowered the floor of the loft by about 40 centimeters, and then to allow me to use this bit. So if you see it. So this bit. Now, usually you can't use it because it's not enough height. So now I can use this, and that's what allowed me to get 8 bedrooms. And this was what was before, and this was what was after. So it was like a 90 square meter house. In the end, I got 8 bedrooms out of it, and only through the loft conversion. And what is also interesting here is I want to use this project to talk a little bit about commercial valuation and what is the HMO planning strategy. So I've got it done to a perfection now because so many HMOs I've done. I usually don't touch 6-bedroom HMO. Why? Because it's boring, because you can't get all your money out. So as you can see before, like a Pine Road, it's a 5-bed HMO, but it got a planning angle. And this is an 8-bedroom HMO. I never touch Valina 6-bedroom HMO because it means I have to sink money into it. So with this, what I usually do, but how do you get large HMOs? Get large HMO planning application is not that straightforward. So I usually do all the building works. And after I do the building works, I put 6 people in my HMO. And then establish use, C3 to C4, existing use. And after I've done that, I apply to the council to ask for 1 additional people, 2 additional people, or 3 additional people. Why that makes planning a lot easier? Because planning, I think someone from Planning Geek is here, but I'm sure I'm right. So planning is all about the material change. So if you think about a family home, it's a 3 to 4 occupants, and you suddenly tell the council, I'm putting 7 people or 8 people there, and the council is, where is your amenity, bins, cycle, parking, everything for the additional 4 or 5 people? It's very difficult to justify it. And also most councils, this depends on council, but most councils have a policy protecting 3-bedroom family home. So if you are converting this, a 3-bedroom family home, into a large HMO, even the principle of conversion is objected. So you don't even need to think about amenity and then a common standard of accommodation, other planning consideration. You wouldn't even pass the first one. But if you use, that's what I'm quite, I love using PD and different things to, circumvent the control of the council. So, C3 to C4 is PD. They can't stop you. So you establish use as C4 first, and you have 6 people there now. So they can't use loss of family home against you. So the principle is accepted. It's already a HMO. And then you only need to adjust, if you can, do you have the bins? Because there's already 6 people. Do you have enough bins, cycle, different things for 2 additional people or 1 additional people instead of 4 or 5? So you make your life much easier. For example, parking. If you go from C3 directly to 3Gen, they might say, you need to parking street survey additionally 3 cars. But now I might only need 1 car. And also I can argue actually most people in HMOs, they don't use cars. So that makes your life, basically, if you are talking about 1 to 10, difficult level 8 for a sui generis planning application, you do it this approach, you reduce it to maybe level 2 or level 3. Anyway, I have never ever failed at getting a large HMO. And the fact you've already done the extension and stuff help as well, because they can never, it's already there. They can never object to the principle that, mass and scale, character of the area. They cannot say the building work will impact the neighbors, etc. So so that is basically my strategy. But I do like to manage risk. What I do, because some people say, what if you build 8 bedrooms and then in the end you didn't get the 3-gen planning? Well, I've always got it. But if you really can't get it, so when I do the room design, I do something quite smart. So for example, if there are 2 bedrooms, I make sure that there are 2 bedrooms right next to each other. Worst case scenario, I can't get the 3-gen, I can put an internal door there and rent it out as suite. So instead of getting £1,000 per room, I rent the 2 rooms together to someone almost as a 1-bedroom flat and charge £1,400 instead of 2,000, 1,000 for each room. So that's my fallback plan, but I never had to use it. This is my 90 square meter to 230. So this is a house I bought. It's in London Borough of Sutton. Actually, it's not 118. I think that is wrong. That number is a little bit wrong. My team put it there. So I think she probably included the garage there. So basically, what is wrong with this house, right? It got structural issues. And actually, the structural issue is caused by the garage. So not many people can want to buy it, and the first-time buyers, families get freaked out. And because I understand construction, and this badly done is causing the problem. So there is a tiny little lean-to, but I want to do double-story side, double-story rear. I had to demolish them anyway, so it does not really impact me. So I demolished them, and then here you see massive ground floor extension. So this is the double story extension side, and behind it a massive ground floor extension across. And then this is the first floor. You can see there's a first floor rear extension, there's a double story side extension. And then the loft, another 2 rooms. So if you count it, I have actually this room is massive, about 15 square meters. So you come in, bedroom 1, ensuite, storage, with my system boiler, massive mega flow. This is storage. And here is a living area, kitchen area. For all my HMOs, I do dual facilities. So 2 hobs, 2 ovens, 2 of everything, 2 sinks. And then you have 1 bedroom here, 1 bedroom here. So 1, 2, 3. And then you have another bedroom, 4, 5, 6 in the extension, 7 in the extension, 8, 9, and I told you I even used this bit, the loft above the double story extension. So 9 bedrooms, all very, very big, all ensuite. Yeah, so that's quite big. So this is my interior design drawing. So I have a full-time in-house interior designer as well. These are the existing photos. And actually this one, I don't know. Okay, so this one, I'm quite proud of the planning as well. So we managed to negotiate a little bit of a delayed completion, but only 2 months. But because we submitted all the full application on the day of exchange, actually by the time we completed, I think it's 20th of February, we already got the full application granted. And we completed on a Friday. My guy is on site on Monday. And it's nearly done. And because I sell quite a few of my HMOs, and like everybody loves my quality, so it's all about a relationship. Never try to make a one-off profit. It's really not worth it. So it's bought by one of the guys who has bought from me before, even before it's completed. And he's paid his 10% already. Yeah. And in September, we will complete. So those are the examples of my HMO. I only included the HMO because today is a HMO workshop, right? Yeah, so open for questions. Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Could I just get, every time the question gets asked, I'm just going to give you a microphone if that's okay, so we can get it recording. Yeah,
I showed you those case studies are my typical HMOs I do. Sometimes, with a planning gain, another house and stuff. Actually, I recently bought one, which is really cool. I bought one house. I built another house on the side, so I end up with 2 6-bed. Actually, one is a 6-bed HMO, one is a 7-bed HMO. And then there is a potential, I just look at it, I know that in the garden, I can build another house. So I bought one house, I end up with 3. Planning, study planning, subscribe to Planning Geek.
Yeah, I got a question is because for the HMO you said 6 bedroom first, so and then apply for additional one.
Yeah.
So during the 6 bedrooms, do you apply HMO license after you've done 6?
Yeah.
And when they expect the property, so you show the other 2 rooms for them?
I just lock 2 rooms. I tell them, oh, hi, James. I lock the room. Sorry, it's my friend. I lock the 2 rooms. I just call it a storage or study or whatever. And also there is a tip. You leave the 2 best rooms for the later inspection. Why? Because the first 6 bedroom is PD. The council can't be too pedantic with it. It's PD. They can't say not enough outlook, not enough this, not enough that. They can't. Because it's PD, you establish is existing. And the last 2 rooms is where they can assess standard of accommodation, outlook, amenity, etc., etc. So I always leave the largest room with the best outlook and also away from the party wall for the last. Because sometimes when it's on party wall, the neighbor can say, oh, noise impact. But noise impact is already there. The 2 last room are 5 meters away from you. It's on this side of the house. So I always leave my 2 best rooms for the last.
In our case, the council asked us to open it to have a look.
Yeah, they can look. It's just storage.
But there's an in-suite in there.
Yeah, I want to use it as a storage. There's nobody living there. I have an empty room in my house. You have a problem?
Flexible, they just have a look.
Yeah.
But the council, because you said...
No, for C3 to C4, they don't even inspect.
Yeah,
it's PD.
They don't inspect. But what, because you mentioned that after, so another question is leading with, so how long we apply for additional from 6 bedroom to 7?
Okay, so what I do is, so for example, my house, the last one I show you is going to be a 9-bedroom HMO. In September, it's going to finish. And what I'll do is, my team will start prepare the full application in August. So in September, application will be ready to be submitted. And then as soon as the property is ready, I get my HMO license, I move 6 people into my HMO, and my guys submit an application C3 to C4. And then as soon as the number 6 people moves in, I submit my full application. And when I submit my full application, I'm not converting a C3 to 3Gen. I'm converting a C4 6-person HMO into a 9-person HMO. And I just submit it in July as soon as the 6 rooms are rented out. And you usually get it in about 3 months, depending on your council. Some councils are really bad. Might take longer, but for me it's usually because I work so much with my local councils. I know exactly what they want. I even know if you go to the planning committee, which councillor want an EV charger, which councillor want a disabled parking. So I know them very well. So I just submit, and in 3-4 months I'll get it. And that is when I do my remortgage. I don't do my remortgage before because I want my commercial valuation. I want to take all my money out. And the commercial valuation in most part of the places, not in Kensington and Chelsea, okay? I mean, outer like Croydon, Sutton, commercial valuation is usually much higher than the brick and mortar. How do I calculate commercial valuation? I usually take, for example, my Longfield project. If it's £1,000 per month per ensuite rooms, I have 9 rooms, so 9,000 multiplied by 12. Take 15% of the cost. Where we are, I divide it by 8% yield. Is usually the price.
Okay, so because before during the case study, you said from 6 to 7 and from 7 to 8. So in this case, you
So 6, I just go directly to 8. There was once I had a 9-person HMO. I didn't do that. So it's all about material change. So there was once was a 9, and it was a few years ago. I was less confident. I didn't know exactly what the council want. So I went from 6 to 7 because I'm only increasing 1%. It's really difficult for them to reject. But I moved myself from C4 use class to 3 Gen. So I'm already in 3 generous planning class. And then within the class, I increased another 2 people. So you can do it in stages to manage the risk as well. And which I quite often do. I try to use PD, use all sorts of things, trying to take control away from the council.
So
Last one, and then we'll move on.
Yeah,
We've got 10 minutes.
Yes. So for the able to get a bedroom, how did you decide whether you're going to go to sui generis or you're going to convert it to flats?
Depending on the council. So if I know the council, because converting to flats is a bit more expensive, and you have to talk to Thames Water because you have utilities and stuff. I really hate Thames Water. I'm sorry. I just anyway. So converting to flats is more expensive. So if the council is okay, I know that it's okay with large HMOs, and it's easy to find out. Just sit on the planning portal for 2 days, read every past application. You'll find out their opinion. If they have an okay attitude to large HMO, I just go large HMO. If I know they are very difficult, I flat and then HMO. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for a really informative presentation.
Thank you, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you being here. Seriously, I feel like, yeah, I'm here because I didn't have a choice. I'm proud of all the ladies in this room who come here out of your own choice.
This is in 2 parts. Firstly, do you focus on a particular tenant type? And the second part is, do you have any issues with neighbours, and how do you have sort of a process for communicating with neighbours about what you're doing, particularly with the 8-9 bed?
Yeah, so I think my risk appetite is very low. It's very personal. I think it's because maybe I'm a woman, I'm a single mom, and also I used to work for asset management company. That every day my fund manager is like, diversification, concentration risk. So I'm a bit like drilled into my mind. So with me, I always try to diversify. So my tenant type, I do service accommodation, I do supported living, I do professionals, I do student. I do a bit of everything. And especially with supported living, I actually have a policy. I do not give more than 3 HMOs to the same supported living provider, just in case they go bankrupt, and if they have 30 of my properties, I'll really freak out, But the maximum is 3. And I like my supported living provider. Really, there was one guy. He's quite nice. He worked with me a lot. He complained. He said, "I'm being so nice to you. Why can't you give me another one?" I'm like, no, company policy. So that's what I do with tenants. I do have issues with neighbors, but I really try to manage it. So. It's always about a win-win situation. Before we start the project, we visited them. I buy large quantity of gifts from China, like vases, teacups, Chinaware, and then my team will go and give them gifts. And quite often for example, at Longfield, we painted our neighbors' walls, redid their fences. So we try to keep a good relationship. Most people are nice. We are all human. If they really want to make your life difficult, they can make your life quite difficult. They can call health and safety every other day. And it's like, again, health and safety. Yeah, so it's good. But, sometimes you do have really unreasonable people. But I'm like that. If you are nice to me, I'll go out of my way to be nice to you. But if you are mean to me, there was one neighbor who was really bad. And seriously, what I said to him is, I said, you sure you want to do this? Your house has not been extended. I have access to lawyers, planners. I have all the expertise to mess you up too. And I said, next time, trust me, if you want to extend your house, you will not be successful. Do you want to play this game with me? He's like, okay. And also, I'm telling you, I took London Borough of Sutton to court. They had a church I got the planning permission already, but the church it was not happy about it. And Sutton, if you know about it, it's the most political borough. Seriously, they get so influenced by, I think it has the oldest population, and they got really influenced by politics. And I did everything right. I got my planning, and they wanted to revoke it, citing that I provided false information. And I think most people will just bow down. I didn't. I got loads of evidence. I got like one of the best planning barrister, and we requested freedom of information. Use the Freedom of Information Act to request all communications on this case. And the head of planning control, Andrew, he called me. He said, Xuan, how are you? I said, can you withdraw your Freedom of Information request? And then I'm sure that we can come to a resolution about it. And I said, okay, I can withdraw it. I don't want to cause problems as well. But you remember, I can always put it back in. Yeah, so, yeah.
Sorry, should I just take them? We've got 5 minutes left, guys, so a couple more questions for people.
Hi, Xuan, love your talk. Thank you so much. Mine are quick, simple. So the first one is, what is your typical tenancy length for the larger HMOs? And the second one is, do you ever go for double occupancy rooms, like couples in rooms, or is it always single individuals? Professionals.
Yeah, it's on average, I think, about 12 to 18 months. I never do double because, the planning is actually not to control the number of rooms, it controls the number of people. And so if, for example, if you put 2 people in double, you charge a little bit more money. I'd rather have another room, charge it for another room. And also, I think when you have couples in the house, change the dynamic a little bit for the entire house.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hello, yes?
Thank you for an informative talk. Can you give us an insight? How do you operate in Article 4 areas? How do you get from 3-bedroom to 6-bedroom into 8?
With Article 4 area, it is a little bit difficult. To be honest, I used to operate a lot in Croydon, and Croydon got Article 4 now. And I haven't even gone back to Croydon to try another HMO. Why? Because I can find enough projects elsewhere. But there are more and more Article 4 now. I think I probably have to try. But my advice is don't be the guinea pig. So, for example, if Croydon, I think, introduced Article 4 2020 or something, don't be the first one. What I'm trying to do is I will actually soon go back to Croydon. My approach is I will read all of the planning application which has been submitted recently and get a gauge of the council's attitude, read their SPD, read their local plan, all that, get a gauge. Watch the planning committee videos for any HMOs and stuff. Just get a feeling of their attitude before you decide if you want to invest or not. If 90% of the applications, C3 to C4, now have been refused, why do you take the risk? And also, there are certain houses which are meant for HMOs, and certain are not. So, for example, if you now ask me to convert a beautiful 4-bedroom house in a residential road quite far from transport into HMO, I think I will think it's very high risk. I wouldn't do. But if it's a flat above commercial, or it's near the town center, very high PETA rating. So PETA is the accessibility rating, very high PETA rating. So you just think if it's in a location normally you don't want a family to be anyway, and then I think if you want to convert those into HMO, the council will support it.
And do you think it needs Article 4? It's easier to go from C3 to SUGET?
With Article 4, it's much easier. Without Article 4. Yeah. So if you can use PD to go to C3 to C4, it's much easier because you gradually take control away from the council. Yeah, I quite often use PD fallback positions, different things to take control away from the council. There is something I do quite cheeky as well. I converted another house, 90 square meter to 270 square meter into 4 flats. What I did, and I know that in that area, the neighbors is quite an affluent area. The more affluent, usually the more objections. So what I did is I tried to take away control from the council. So what I did is instead of saying that I want to do double-story rear, double-story side, this and that, to create 4 flats, what I said is I want to extend the beautiful family home. And then I applied for all the external changes first and got that approved. And then the second application is to subdivide that approved scheme into 4 flats. Because mostly with principle of development, they usually don't object. London desperately need housing. Principle is always okay. Most cases. What they can really mess you around is scale, overdevelopment, character, all those things, impact on neighbors' amenity, daylight and sunlight, you cast a shadow in neighbor's garden, those things they can actually object. But if your mass and scale is already approved in a previous application, they can't object. So you basically remove 90% of the reasons of objection. They can only look at the internal standard. So the internal layout of the flats, does it meet standards and stuff? They can't look at the outside anymore. So you remove the control. And also when you are extending a house, you have to think that neighbors don't object. So by the time they realize I'm converting into flats, it's a little bit too late for them to object. Yeah. Don't tell my neighbors.
One final question, yes.
One short question. You said
Sorry.
You'll be able to sit next to Shred at lunch anyway, and
you said you worked as an asset manager in the finance industry.
Yes, sir.
So what did you do to become an expert in planning and design?
Oh, I love learning. So when I first started doing property development, of course, look at me, I'm not a builder. People have different skill sets. Some of them can build cheaply. Some of them can probably design. They are interior designers, they are artists, they can design more beautiful places. But me, I don't. But what I'm really good is I'm so good at paperwork. I love reading. I'm like, I graduated top of my class, so I study very well. I study fast. I can absorb information. So that's my strength. And I used to read like the investment documents like this. I can read it in one day and get the ideas. So that's my strength. So I said, what can I do? I have to have a strength. And I've decided that planning is going to be my strength. So I just love reading. I've read so many local plans, London plans, SPDs. And what helps most actually is existing planning applications. So I go to, for example, for London Borough of Sutton, if I'm doing an HMO there, I might go onto the portal, it's all public information, and find the past 30, 40 applications. And I'll read it. And I do a lot of research. And to be honest, sometimes I know better than planning consultant. There was once, one of my friends bought a HMO in Sutton. He wants to convert into a large HMO. I said, you can't convert it. And he said, but I'm not going to tell who, but a very famous planning consultant said, yes. I said, you believe that person or me? That person, okay, fine. And he didn't get it. Why? Because in Sutton, you have a small, it's only in Sutton, you have a rule called area potential intensification. They only support the change of use in that small area. So that house was outside. So I think, you are the developer. It's in the end, it's you losing the money. You really can't. You think, oh, I hired a planning consultant, he'll do all the job. Quite often it's not. Actually, there is someone in the room. I'm not going to. He once consulted another very famous planning consultant. And that person told him, you can do back garden development in that area. But later we found out actually it's in the local plan, black and white. They don't support back garden development, but the planning consultant said so. So you need to go on and read the local plan yourself. You need to read your past cases. The most important document is the officer's report, because I talked about principle of development, amenity, character, scale, standard of accommodation, all those material consideration. The planning officer's report will list one by one and talk about it. Why this development meets that rule, why this development does not. So you learn so much.
Thank you.
Massive round of applause.
Thank you.